Hi everyone. I think we're going to kick off now because I'm conscious we are eating into your Thursday evening. And we do like to be prompt. So I'd just like to extend a really warm welcome to everyone. Thank you so much for making the time. I'm just going to introduce myself really quickly. My name is Jess Timlin. I'm the director of our finance recruitment business here at Michael Page London. So I'm not going to take any credit for this event, though, just to be clear. I'm just literally going to start the introductions. So we just want to say thank you to CASSL and thank you to Liv Schuler, who's gone about working tirelessly to arrange this meeting. Hopefully it's going to be useful to everyone. So without further ado, please feel free to stay on mute and feel free to have your cameras off. You can just sit back and enjoy our lovely, wonderful speakers. I'm going to pass over to Liv, who manages our research team, and she's going to talk a little bit about the event and what you can expect today. So without further ado, Liv, over to you.
Hi, yes, thank you everyone for joining us today. Obviously, this has taken a lot of organisation. There's lots of people signed up to this event who haven't joined yet, but they will, I'm sure. So I'm sure the numbers will double or even triple. And we've got up to 97 people signed up. So obviously, I think as the event continues, more will join. Just a quick thank you as well to Matt and Temi from CASSL. You've been really helpful in us organising this. I've copied and pasted a link to CASSL's all of their events. So if you would like to get involved in any of those, just feel free to click the link. So this whole event came from me speaking to lots of newly qualified accountants and them not really knowing the full range of options that are available to you once you're fully qualified. And so I thought it would be really good for us to have a conversation with people who've obviously been very successful in their finance careers and discuss different avenues that you can look at once qualified. Yeah, so just to give insight into that. So on my LinkedIn, I've obviously posted, I don't know if you would have seen, I posted the names of the people who are going to be speaking today. And the first person that I would like to introduce even, if I can get my words out, is Stuart. So Stuart is a partner from Ecovis Wingrave Yates. And I feel like you're here, Stuart.
I should appear right now. There we go.
Hello, thank you for joining us. Yes, okay. So so how the layout of this event is going to go, just so everyone's clear, is each guest speaker will discuss and talk through their career, their journeys in finance. This will then be followed by me asking some questions to each speaker about everything basically, and like newly qualified advice and different pathways through finance. If you have any questions yourself you'd like answered that I'm maybe not covering, feel free to write them in the chat or just write them in the chat, that's completely fine. If you want your name to be anonymous, that's completely fine as well. You can just turn your name to your initials if you don't necessarily want to be seen on this call, which is completely fine as well. So Stuart, thank you for joining us today. If you can, it'll be great for you just to talk us through your career basically, from where you started to where you are now potentially. And then I'll just follow up with some questions, if that's okay.
Okay, no problem. So good evening, everybody. So a little introduction about myself firstly. So my name's Stuart Hinds. I'm an audit and advisory partner at Ecovis Wingrave Yates. We're a 7-partner practice in Soho, and we're part of a large international network. So we're in a top 20 international network, but we're a 7-partner practice in Soho. I started out my career at McIntyre Hudson back in 1996. I know I look far too young for that, but it is true. McIntyre Hudson, obviously, I'm sure you're familiar with the name. They were a top 20 firm of accountants back then. I think they're number 12 in the league tables now. So I started at a top 20 practice. I was there for 12 years, coming all the way through to partner level. And then I left McIntyre Hudson and joined what was Baker Tilly at the time, is now RSM, who are 7th in terms of the league tables now, in terms of size. And I was a partner there for 7 years. And I've been a partner now at Ecovis for 6 years. So all of my background really is in the mid-tier, but from the very top end of the mid-tier to a firm of about 80 people now, just to give you a bit of background there. So in terms of my career, as I say, I started out at McIntyre Hudson. Did I have a burning desire to go into the profession? No, I must admit I didn't, and I'm sure many of you would be the same. So how did I get into the profession? I was forced into it by my mum, is one way of looking at it.
the best way.
Absolutely. So, I decided when I left school that I didn't want to go to university. I wanted to go out and start working. I enjoyed business. I was quite good with numbers. And my mum saw an advert in the local paper to train as an accountant. So, she sort of strong-armed me, I guess, to go for the interview. And actually, I really liked the sound of the profession and the career. So I ended up taking that job at McIntyre's, as I say. I started off doing AAT. So I spent 2 years doing that. I then went on, did my chartered exams. So within 5 years of joining, at about the age of 23, I was a qualified chartered accountant. In terms of the work that I was doing when I was there, it was predominantly audit and accounting. Most of the clients were owner-managed businesses, although there were a couple of listed companies and a number of international groups, but privately owned international groups typically. And I was dealing with anything and everything. So it was, sector agnostic. It could have been business services, retail, manufacturing, you name it, we sort of did it. So, quite a broad experience there. And as I say, after about 5 years of being at McIntyre Hudson, I qualified. So at that point, I was, I guess, at a similar stage of my career to what you guys are at now. And I think it's worth just talking what we're doing as a firm with our guys that are coming up to qualification and have just qualified, because we're starting to have careers conversations with them and starting to help them map out what they want to do in the future in terms of their careers. So I think, when people qualify, it's a big milestone, it's a big achievement. I think prior to that, not many people are thinking and looking beyond, that sort of stage in terms of what they want to do longer term with their career. And certainly I was the same, and most of you, I guess, were the same. So what we start to do at our firm is about 6 months prior to people qualifying, we tend to have a conversation with them. So this would typically be a partner. And we'd start to have a careers conversation, and we would ask them, you're coming up to qualification. Have you started to think about the sorts of things that you might want to do, what you've enjoyed, where you see your career going? The vast majority of the time, the answer is no, we haven't thought about it yet. We're just focusing on qualifying, which is absolutely fine. But we start to talk to them about, post-qualification, what a career in the profession might look like, what a career at our firm might look like, and the various options available to them. And we also talk about, what it might be in industry and what it might be in other sectors as well, because not everybody wants to stay in the profession. And in fact, training firms need some people to move on. The business model is such that we're taking so many trainees on every year. We can't afford everybody to stay. We're not growing quick enough normally. I'll come back to that later. So we're really having these conversations to try and establish, who wants to do what. Can we provide career opportunities for people, and can we just help in terms of making decisions for their career? And what we also do is encourage them after that first conversation to go and talk to other people as well, talk to other people in the firm, people more senior, about how their career have gone. Most people know people at other firms, go and talk to them and start to do some research themselves, and sometimes talk to clients as well, finance directors in our clients. So people tend to go away from that meeting and start to do a bit of their own research, start to, think about things. And then we have another meeting about 3 months before they qualify, which tends to be a lot more productive because people have had the opportunity to go away and do a bit of research and start to think about actually what they do want to do and reflect on the conversation that we had. So from that point of view, we start to then become a little bit more focused in terms of what the opportunities are for people and the avenues they might want to go down. And then we have if you like, the third meeting, which is just around about the time they qualify, maybe just after they qualify. And this is when we're starting to tangibly map out, if they said they want to stay in practice, we're starting to map out how their career can develop over the next couple of years, what sorts of skills they've got to learn, whether they want to do additional exams, and some of them do. And, as I say, they're quite, really good, tangible meetings for those guys that want to stay in practice. And we can give them a bit of clarity as to what the next 2-3 years looks like in terms of, career progression. Some of the things, that our guys want to do once they've qualified, and again, some of you guys may be thinking about this. I mentioned additional exams. So, we've got some people that have moved on and they're doing their tax exams. So they might have trained in audit, and they've decided they want to go and do their CTA, which is an extra year, I believe. So they might go on and do some additional tax training. We've got some people that decide they want to go and do their diploma in corporate finance. So again, that's another year's worth of a course. So they'll stay in the audit department, but they'll go and do their corporate finance exams. It will be another string to their bow, and it will broaden their skills. And it's something that's very attractive, actually, in the future, whether you want to go in industry or whether you want to stay in practice. It's a really good qualification.
It's a very popular route as well, corporate finance.
Yeah,
it's very popular at the moment. Everyone's talking about it.
Absolutely, plenty of M&A going on at the minute. So, but even if you don't want to go into M&A, as I say, it's really good. Additional skills, really broadens your skills. Whether you want to stay in practice and be an advisor, or whether you want to go into industry, or whatever you want to do. So it's something really worth thinking about. We actually had a request from one of our guys quite recently, and I didn't know this qualification existed, and I think it's only fairly new, to go and do a green and sustainable finance certificate, which is a new qualification, which I think the CISI is running. So again, that was off the back of the initial conversations we had. He went away and started to think about, what does he want to do in his career? What markets does he think are going to be growing markets over the next few years, and there's going to be opportunities. So he came back and said, look, I'd like to do this certificate. And we said, fine, we'll support you in doing that, and we'll pay for that. And we think that'll be a valuable thing for you and for the firm to learn those additional skills. And then we've got other people that decide they want to do additional qualifications in whether it's financial services or whatever. So there's a whole range of things. And from our point of view, we want to hear from our people as to what they want to do. And we will try and support them where we can. Some people also